Good evening, gang. Happy Tuesday night. Okay, we are here. It's Tuesday. It's a little crazy. All right, let's see if we get a screen pop up here real quick and then see if you guys can hear me and we'll get the show on the road. Okay, there we go. I can see me. So that's a good start. Now let's see if you guys can hear me and we'll actually get somewhere with this thing. We can't bring it up that big. Trying to get the. There we go. All right. Woo. Shooting around already. Farm Ranch, Marie, Jim Mummery, Bass Ackward, John the Questioner, Heather Bray. Okay, bunch of 5x5. Sorry, no, there's a boatload of them. Okay, good. You guys can hear me. All right. So, yeah, I was scrambling to get here to the kitchen table because something that I've talked about has happened to me here between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock tonight. I've had two scam phone calls tonight about people pretending to be the sheriff's office, telling me somebody I know is in jail and coming in as a private number and identifying themselves as sheriffs and everything like that. And it's funny because I got a call right at 7 o'clock, and that one kind of caught me off guard. And I was like, okay, not dealing with any of this. And then I got a call again at 7:45 from a different person. And I'm thinking, okay, if you're in the sheriff's department at this point, I know it's a scam. And so good old interrogation techniques come out and start asking questions that I know the answers to and get him to get all tripped up. But the interesting one, and this is where you guys got to be careful when this happens. One of his questions was because what they're trying to do is get bail money out of me. All right. And the interesting question, do you know anybody else we can call? And what he's trying to do is to get you to give them other victims' names and phone numbers. And it just really weird. And I mean, I had done some follow-up afterwards, and I knew this was by the time I got the second call, I knew it was a fraud. But yeah, very interesting that I had going on here just before we started. So if you're wondering why the 5 minute beforehand didn't go up right on time, it was because I was trying to get to the computer real quick. Crazy stuff. So yeah, uh, be aware. They're out there trying to do anything to get you. It was just kind of interesting. Why would you be calling somebody in Tennessee about somebody being in jail in Indiana, supposedly? It's like, nope, not going to happen. All right, so but that was it. Sure, let me just hop in a car and I'll be up there in about 10 hours. No problem. All right, so that was that fun, which has been the last hour of my life. Uh, as we know, tonight is Trump's State of the Union address, so we're going to probably cut short 5 minutes early tonight because I do want to go. I do want to watch this. So we will see that. So just plan accordingly. We'll be out of here 5 to 9, provided I actually look at the clock when we get into Q&A. So that was it. And I don't keep everybody late. You guys can boogie. I just have a tendency to forget. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many Democrats actually show up and do their job, by being there at the State of the Union. But I got a kick out of it. They're supposed to be the left is putting together some sort of, was it the People's March or something tonight? I think it's on uh, it's either the steps of Congress or the steps at the Lincoln Memorial or something like that. But they're specifically calling it's the People's something. And I got a kick out of it because it's like, yeah, kind of like the People's Republic of China or the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Hmm. Embrace communism much? Why don't we just start using the vernacular too? Hey, we could just fly a flag with Joseph Stalin on it, or maybe Che Guevara or something like that while we're out there too. It's going to be interesting, but Yeah, we will see the polarity of the country tonight at Trump's State of the Union. We won't see any tearing up of the State of the Union address because Nancy Pelosi is going to be 3 sheets to the wind out in the gallery, not sitting behind the president. So we won't have to worry about her drunk ass doing anything stupid. But who knows? Maybe we'll see another Al Green cane racing moment, or somebody will do something that is conduct unbecoming of a congressperson tonight. You'll pretty much guarantee that. Interesting to see if there's any applause for some of the special guests. The White House has Erica Kirk there. We'll see if the Democrats applaud her or they stay silent. Some of the members of the men's hockey team that won the gold medal the other night, or other morning, actually, for us, are going to be there. We'll see if the Democrats applaud them or whether they're like the Huffington Post and say you should be ashamed of being an American. Uh, uh, be interesting to see what happens tonight. The optics are going to be a lot more telling tonight than the speech itself. So that's kind of the fun there. Uh, Talked about Mexico the other day. Mexico is basically coast to coast now in, I don't want to say civil war, but in chaos. Uh, Saw this morning that all the way out to Cozumel, which if there's ever been there, that's the island that's out in the Caribbean Sea, Gulf of America, uh, just outside of uh, Cancun. Even there, they've got telling Americans, telling everybody not to go. So that was interesting. And then, of course, you guys got to see my video this morning. I hope a bunch of you went and read the bill. That was shocking to find this morning that West Virginia is actually trying to, or the West Virginia government is actually trying to exploit the loophole for civilians to own fully automatic weapons. The interesting part about that one is why would they want the people to own those? Don't tell me I mean, I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. Don't tell me there's a whole bunch of politicians that are raving, going, yeah, let's get the civilian sector more armed. Okay. Like I said in the video, especially the ones flying rainbow flags. But what do they know? And we've all talked about this. I mean, not just me. We've talked about it for about a year, but I've seen other channels talk about it too. What do the politicians know that's coming that we don't know? Why have, as I talked about a week or so ago, why have so many congressmen and senators decide not to run for reelection? What are they doing? Why are Zuckerberg and some of these other people building bunkers? I forget the name of the guy who moved to New Zealand to buy a bunker. What do they know? Do they see the same stuff we see, that the world's fixing to blow up? So, yeah, interesting times we live in. It could be 1776 all over again, but we'll see what happens. So, all right, there you go. Crazy, crazy, crazy day. And tonight's only going to get crazier, and God knows what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens when we wake up in the morning. So that's that. All right. Uh, we have a giveaway tonight, as you guys know. It's probably why a whole bunch of people are here. What do we have? How many people are here right now? We have, if I can get the screen to roll, 1,600 people in here. Okay, fair enough. We have a Blue Eddy Apex 300 to give away tonight. If you guys saw, well, obviously you saw it, the video that I did the other day, that was for the new expansion battery. That was a 5120 watt hour expansion battery. It's a huge battery. The thing weighs like almost 100 pounds. But big, big, big expansion battery where you could literally build out that system, the Apex 300 that we're giving tonight, out to 100,000 watts. Okay. So This system actually could, if you wanted to build it out completely, pretty much run a house, giving you that as an idea. All right. But I wanted to show you the new battery that came out because the other one they had was a 3,000 watt, this one being the 5,000. So this was a significant improvement. But like I had said to Julia when she asked me about showing it, I said, well, I said, giving away a battery without the generator wasn't going to make a whole lot of sense. So that's why I told her, I said, we need to give away the power station, as we all call them, generators instead, rather than the battery. So whoever wins tonight, yeah, you're going to get the power station and then the deal on the battery. If you want to expand it, you can take advantage of that on your own. So good deal there. But so we are going to do that. Uh, I don't even remember what I asked you guys to do, and that's how crazy it was because I would have looked that up at between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock. What I asked you guys to do. Oh yeah, now I remember. It was your lawn, the brand of lawnmower. That was it. Okay, so in a minute we will get the random comment picker up here. We will load it up and see how many of y'all entered, and then we'll pick a winner. The name we pick has to have the state in which they live in. It has to be lower 48 and the brand, any brand of a lawnmower. Okay, that was what it is. So whether you've got a John Deere, an Aaron's, a Toro, whatever it would be, doesn't matter. But that's got to be in there. All right. And again, hopefully I've heard of it. So I don't have to go look something up. If those both things aren't in there, it's not a valid entry. I'm sorry you don't win. Whoever's name I draw will have 3 minutes to announce their presence in here in the chat room. Don't need to give me Moby Dick. Just I'm here is good enough. Just it's a must be present to win. So I tell this to you guys all the time. Once I pull that name, if it's not yours, don't leave. Don't shut off your computer and put it up on the TV where you can't reply because if that person's not there, I draw another name. All right. So make sure before you go wherever you want to go, make sure we've got the winner confirmed already. All right. The other thing, when I say it and when all the mods put it in capital letters in there, no more comments. That means no more comments. Don't come in and say, gee, I forgot, because it's like 7 times in capital letters right in front of you there that the moderators have posted it. Okay. We've been saying this for 3 years. Even if you're new here, this is pretty simple. If you comment after we say no more comments, we put you in a week-long timeout, which means you have no chance of winning this. It means you can't comment on any of the other videos or potentially any of the other giveaways I do. So have a little respect for me. It's me against 1,600 of you guys trying to find one name right now. That's all I'm asking. So, all right, let's go to the share screen here. And that would be right there. Share. Okay. And so we have the link that is in there. That is from, was it last Wednesday's video? I believe it was. So we will do fetch and see how many people we get. Anything goes, put a comment in there. We do not include replies. It's always been primary comment only. We do not allow duplicates. Everybody gets one entry. So let's see how many people are entered. There's 1,000, 15. All right. We have slightly more entries than we have people here. 1,793 comments. And what did we have? 1,667, 1,691. So there's about 100 more entries than there are people here. So that means there's a what 4%, 6% chance that the name I draw is not here. So just remember that. So let's see what we got. And the potential winner is R Chambers 3092, Tennessee, Lawn Boy, and hello. Well, that's keeping it simple, but that's good enough. Art Julia, okay. Art Chambers 3092. We just need to see you in there. And of course, I didn't say the no comments again. What else is no? See, I can't even follow directions. All right, so nobody's got comments. We are looking for Art Chambers 3092. Thanks, mods. I got a little ahead of myself there. Art Chambers 3092. You have until 8:18 to say you are here. Do, 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 do. And I'm here. There we go. We've got our Chambers 3092. All right, Julia, congratulations. You are the proud new winner of a Blue Eddy Apex 300. What I need you to do is email me your name, address, physical mailing address, and phone number. And I've got the Apex here at home. So if you can get that to me this evening, my email is down below in the description, pinball preparedness at mail, the number two, world.com. Get that to me. I will take it to UPS in the morning. But congratulations, we have ourselves a winner. All right, so let's remember this one. Stop the screen sharing. And then I can close out of that and I can get back over here. And what do you know? And mods, again, my apologies that I forgot to say after I made the speech about no more comments, and I don't even say it. So there you go. Brilliant on my part. So, all right, we did all right. Thank you for at least doing your part. All right, let's get into Q&A. I'm sorry if I'm a little flustered tonight. That was just kind of weird. Weird way to end my evening or start my evening, I guess. So let's get into Q&A. As per normal, if you've got questions for me, please put them in all caps. Just makes it easier for me to go through the chat room here to see what's directed at me versus what you guys are having conversations amongst yourselves about. As always, you know, I wholeheartedly support you guys having conversations amongst yourselves. I don't have all the answers. I've never professed to, but I can pretty much bet that 99.9% of the questions that you want answered, somebody in here knows it. So if you ask a question, watch for other people to potentially answer it too, because I might not know, or I might not even get to your question. So, you know, pay attention to the comments in there. If you ask something, somebody else may have an answer. Because remember, you guys type in a hell of a lot faster than I can answer questions. If you don't get your question up by about 8:35, chances are I don't even get to it. Okay, because it'll be way down the list. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But sometimes there's been a laundry list of them. There's only one rule on this channel. It's never changed, and we stick to it. This is treat everybody in here with respect, politeness, whatever. Disagreement is fine. Just do it politely. Okay. If you got a different point to make, you don't agree with something I say or something else somebody says, make your argument. Okay. That's what we're here for. There is no one way of doing this. If you started out, hey, asshole, you'll never make another comment on here. The mods are under strict instructions that if somebody is rude like that, you get banned from the channel. There is no second chance. Gee, I wasn't thinking when I was typing. I don't care. Okay. Uh, that's pretty much it. So engage brain before putting fingers in motion. Pretty simple. All right. Let's get up here after all the congratulations. Uh, Master Blaster, is CNBC protecting Big Blue Owl? I don't watch CNBC. If you're asking about Blue Owl, the company that the uh, BDC, Business Development Company, I don't follow them. I know of them. Uh, there's a couple other BDCs that I follow, but I don't watch CNBC, so I really can't tell you what's going on with them. Krusty Ask Hole. Nice. What's the best freeze-dried food MRE related? Well, I'm probably not gonna be the best person to answer that because when I was in and we had MREs, I think there were 8 different varieties of them, okay? And some were better than others. The ham loaf was terrible. The chicken a la king was something that most everybody liked. Now, even since in the last 25 years, there's like 2 dozen or 30 different varieties of the MREs have very much changed. So I can't tell you about two-thirds of the new ones. I don't know. It's been years since I've eaten an MRE. If you're asking because of for prepping reasons, I'll give you the same answer I've said many times over here. Don't go out and buy cases and cases and cases of MREs. First off, they're extremely expensive. I mean, it's about 15 bucks per MRE, last I looked. I get having 1 or 2 per person if you're gonna be bugging out. That's about it, all right? If you've got 1 in your get home bag or your bug out bag, maybe 2, that's about all you need. Because 'cause you're not gonna wanna be if you're staying home, i.e., like I am, I'm not cracking open MREs. Those are good for if you're traveling, something to eat that's relatively lightweight to carry. You're not gonna be eating those at home, and if you're going somewhere else that you know you're going there, you should be stocking food there. So the only reason you need MREs is to get you from point A to point B. That's it. Okay? Don't waste the money on very expensive, not tasty food. But as for what the best one is, I can't answer you there. Mitchell Ring will forgive you this one time. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll repent later. Uh, Lint 636. What is the use of the hype the video? I have no idea. Not a clue. Okay. I see that every once in a while. It's somebody, oh, I hyped such and such video. I don't know if it gives it a boost in YouTube's algorithms, whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, maybe it gets it out to other people. I appreciate when people do it, but I don't know. I haven't seen any difference in, I'll see so and so hyped the video. That's wonderful. Maybe it puts a link to all the people that follow them, hey, go watch this video. I don't know. Uh, it's just more gobbledygook that YouTube tries to put in. They've started a new thing, if you guys have seen this, called, I think it's called gifting or something like that, where the subscribers, you guys, can go buy little present boxes to put next to your name. It's like, don't waste your money. Okay. It's stupid stuff like that. I mean, I'd rather see the money go toward Christmas or the food drives that we do or anything like that. Eh, don't this little stupid stuff that they do. I mean, like we did the membership, and I told you why we did the membership and what we do with that. Okay? But this gifting thing and stuff like that, I'm not getting involved in that. That's just the hype. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And why all the social media companies, oh my God, Instagram's doing this. We need to do it. Like YouTube Shorts. It was like that came out. Why? Oh, because everybody wants to watch videos on their phone. And that was where we had the whole big problem with the vertical live streams. Uh, because they were trying to get everybody to do shorts and not long form video. And I'm like, my content doesn't fit into a 30-second video. So, and I mean, I got countless, why aren't you doing any shorts? I'm like, have you ever watched one of my videos? Not going to happen. I'm not showing you, what I had for lunch or, you know, the latest picture of the dogs. That's it. No. So, uh, Julia Gwynn, what's going on with the bunkers? Archie and Edith? I believe they're both dead. If you're talking about Zuckerberg, I have no idea. So I can't really tell you too much there. Kitsy Witty, what would you like the president to speak about tonight? You know, it's going to be the typical rah rah speech. You know, we've got the most secure border ever. We'll hear about the Dow is over 50,000. Uh, I want to hear more rather than the pat myself on the back stuff. I want to hear about what's next. Where are we going forward? What's next? How are we going to increase the amount of deportees? How are we going to bring the cost of electricity down? I got my electric bill was $366. I about fell out of my chair. Granted, it was cold between mid-January and mid-February, but I was like, wait a minute, that's ridiculous because when it was cold, I was heating on propane. So yeah, that got painful. I want to see how we're going to start bringing the cost of those sorts of things down. I want to see what the plan is to, how do you want to put this? How to make the American dream real again, that people can actually be 30 years old, get married, have a kid, and buy a small house. I saw a video this morning, it was either this morning or yesterday, about some woman whining that her starter home, that her mortgage was $4,500 a month. I'm like, she was complaining that her mortgage went up. It's like, no, lady, your taxes went up. Your mortgage didn't change unless you got an arm, and you don't. Uh, but I'm like, $4,500 mortgage on a starter home. You better be living in Connecticut or New York City or California or something like that because you bought too much house. Just pretty much that. I think she lived in Ohio. Uh, you tell me, those of you that live in Ohio, what size house you get with a $4,500 a month mortgage. Uh, yeah, we need to have, there's got to be something on both sides. Okay, we need, and it ain't interest rates. I'm telling you this right now. Okay, it's not interest rates in the 6% rate are historical norms. That's, I mean, go back to the 50s. I mean, houses are actually cheaper on interest rate that way. I think I did a video one time that where houses now by square foot are actually cheaper than they were in the 50s. That side needs to get fixed. That we need to change the regulations with for home builders, that they start building starter homes and not all these larger homes. And I get it because the builders are like, well, the way they did the zoning laws, we're only allowed to put, say, 9 houses in an acre. And so therefore we've got to use as much space as we can to maximize our profits. I get it. Okay. Change the laws where you can put 12 homes in an acre. And then you got to put smaller houses in there that make the houses more affordable. But then we also need to take the other side with all these people going, I'm sorry, no, you are the cashier at Walmart. No, you do not have the income to buy a house. That job was never meant to be a main breadwinner to buy a home. That's not a living wage position. It shouldn't pay living wage jobs. Okay. Those are part-time jobs for retirees and college kids and high school kids and stuff like that. That's what those jobs are. Okay. So that's what I want to see him talk about. How we're going to get the kids to wake up and say, you know what? I'm not making any money sitting on my ass playing video games, and how we get the economy unsupersized, if you will. We don't need new families do not need 2,500 square foot houses. No, 1,200 is fine, right? I mean, my house is 1,900 square feet. We don't even use one bedroom. Mrs. P and I probably use 1,300 square feet of this house. That's about it. It's just the two of us. All right. We don't need the formal dining room and all this. There's just more you got to clean, more you got to heat, air condition, and buy furniture for. It's like, no, just need comfortable. That's what I want to talk. That's what I wanted to talk about. How to make the American dream reality again. Uh, Ashley Nicole, any advice on moving from Oregon to Texas on a budget? First off, congratulations on getting out of that shithole. Okay. Uh, first piece of advice I would give you is probably wait a couple more months before doing it because you sure as hell don't want to be driving through northern Nevada, southern Idaho, Salt Lake City, anywhere down all the way until you get damn near St. George in Utah. uh, on your way down there. I've driven through. I one time Mrs. P and I had to drive from Salt Lake to Vegas. We were going. This is when we lived in Salt Lake, moving to Vegas. We had an appointment to go see a house on a Saturday, so we had to drive down there. It was about a 7 hour drive, 8 hours, some 7 or 8, something like that. So we had to leave at like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and it was a sleet storm, and it was, and I'm trying to drive. I mean, white knuckling it down there. Don't wait till you got nice weather to move. That would be the first thing. Uh, Moving on a budget. Obviously, I'm guessing you're doing the U-Haul route or something like that. Uh, but yeah, I, I, don't have nearly enough information. I mean, are you going to Dallas Fort Worth? Are you going to Midland, Texas? I mean, it depends on where you're going. You'd have to ask somebody from Texas about where the more budget places are to live down there. Uh, I I don't have an answer much more than you all. Do a DIY move. Uh, Shoot to the bottom. Here, let's see. Gotta find where it was again. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, Carolyn Robbins. Have I decided what variety of tomatoes you're planting this season? No, haven't even really given it any thought. Like I said, I'm just doing a couple of buckets garden this year. I'll plant a couple of tomato seeds, get a couple of plants just so we have some fresh tomato seed. But it'll be, what did I grow the year ago or so? Uh, was it Better Boys? I think it was probably something like that again. It'll be a hybrid tomato because I'm not going to save any seeds this year. So I'll use one of the beefsteak tomatoes just so we've got salad and sandwich tomatoes. Patty G, do you think planting perennial veggies are a good staple for your garden? The only perennial vegetable that I have is asparagus. Uh, the If you've got the space, yeah, perennial garden is great. Okay. Uh, the downside to it, like I said, for anybody who's trying to grow asparagus, you're not going to get any to eat for a few years. Okay. But when you do, you'll get some food. I've got asparagus, and I'll get I got like 5 or 6 crowns. I'll get 50 to 75 crowns of asparagus a spring, and it's a short time frame that you get them. It's maybe 2 or 3 weeks that I get the asparagus, and that's it. So we eat the fresh asparagus, and that's it. I like asparagus. It's very expensive at the store, so I figured I'd grow some of my own. I've got that. Okay. I don't know. I mean, what is it? Jerusalem artichokes are a perennial. I don't have any. It, you, Perennial veggies are a good staple for your garden if you eat if those are part of your diet. They're not part of ours, so I don't grow. Again, it's like anything else in your food storage. Store what you eat. If you don't eat black eyed peas, don't store black eyed peas. If you don't eat black eyed peas, don't grow black eyed peas. So we don't eat any of the perennial vegetables in our normal diet, so I don't grow any. Just it depends on what you eat. Hart Miller, pinball, would you own a full auto? I think I would, but it would stay in the safe 90% of the time. It's the other 10% where you have fun. Yes, I would. But the only full, and I kind of talked about this briefly in this morning's video. The only full auto I would want would be a squad level weapon. Okay. A Madus, an M60, whether I'd rather have the 50 cal than the 30 cal. Yes, I would rather have it in full auto, depending on what it costs. Like I said, if I want to go out and buy a Madus semi, that's going to cost me damn near 20 grand. I'm sorry, that ain't in the budget. So that's not happening. It's one of those dream things. If I won the lottery or something like that, not even silver going to 120 was enough that was going to get me there. But yes, I would. But it would definitely it's kind of a like I said, it's a lottery winning type dream thing. You go out and try to buy 50 cal rounds, 50 BMG rounds for a Madus, they're $4 a round. Okay. You want that nice 200 round belt that you got there is $800 worth of ammo. You're not going out to the range for play day. Okay. You whip through 200 rounds in a Madus in what, a couple of minutes. And if that, great. Would it come in handy if the world goes to shit? Oh yeah, some 50 BMG round will go through an APC, our personal carrier, easily stop a car. In one side of the car, out the other side, and into the next car and out the other side. No problem. You take out, passenger and driver out of two vehicles that are driving next to each other. Yes, I'd love to have one. Is it high on my list of things to buy? No, that's it. But if somebody said, "Hey, here, I want to give you one," I'd be happy. If I found one for a couple of $1,000s, I'd do it. But I'm, just like everybody'd love to have a minigun. I'd love to have a tank. It's not gonna. I mean, and you can actually buy them, especially the old Soviet stuff. But not, it's not a high priority for me. But yes, I would like to have one. Uh, Julie EI6UI. Have I grown stevia? I've thought about it because obviously with me and Mrs. P dieting, it's no sugar everything. So it's like, okay, iced tea with stevia. Uh, I've thought about growing. I just haven't. I think about it in the spring sometime, and then I just don't get around. From what I've heard from people, it's difficult to grow. Uh, so I have not tried it, but I don't. As for your question, is it good for indoors? If somebody knows, let us all know because that would be something I'd like to grow. I know, watching Danny and Wanda down at Deep South Homestead, they grow sugar cane. It's always kind of cool when they go harvest the sugar cane and watch them, you know, juicing it, I guess, if you will. Stevia is completely different, but that is a good one for those of us who don't live in the deep, deep South to try to grow because you're going to need in an SHTF situation some sort of sweetener. Here's the problem. You can't use it in things like canning. It won't work. Okay. You're not going to make jams and jellies with stevia and have it last on the shelf. You need the actual sugars. So you're not going to make moonshine with stevia. You need sugar. So sugar is still one of those things where we need to stock and store sugar. Fortunately, sugar is not super expensive. So putting away a couple of 5-gallon buckets of it, a lot more than a couple, uh, depending on what you're going to do with it, is still a good idea. Uh, Sword 5,000. Silver premium is 10 to 15 bucks. Right, that I gotta see because let's see. If I want to go right now and buy silver rounds on SD bullion, 1 ounce silver rounds. All right. So silver rounds, 1 ounce silver rounds, our choice are 92 or as low as 92.85. Bought one, it'd be 93.35. I go look at what the ask price is on silver at today's close. It was 89.11. So I don't know where you're paying 10 to $15, but that's about $4. So if you're paying 10 to $15, you're getting hosed by somebody. That's all I'm gonna say on that one. Uh, and again, the percentage still stands. You want to try to find less than a 15% premium on buying silver. So if silver's 90 bucks, if you're finding, I mean, that still gets to be quite a bit. You're finding anything under what's that, about $13, you're doing good. But that was old prices. That 15% has come way down. But if I'm looking at $4 premium right now, that's cheap. All right. $4 on 90 is what? 5%? Uh, all right. Do, 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 do. Yes, I'm watching the clock. Uh, there we go. Wildwood Nature Escapes. I have alpha gal allergy to mammals. No idea what that is. How to preserve poultry and fish other than canning and freezing without fancy equipment. Drying. I mean, that would. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of ways you can smoke them. You can freeze dry them. You can dehydrate them. But you know, you're gonna have to have some equipment. I mean, to freeze dry, you're gonna have expensive equipment. To dehydrate them, uh, that's still gonna cost you $100, and to smoke them, that's gonna. I mean, even if you went out and bought yourself a charcoal smoker or something like that, you're still gonna wind up having to spend a couple $100. So, but those are your other options. You know, I mean, we could say salt them. That's a possibility with the fish. Uh, but again, you're still going to need to keep those on. You're still going to need to keep it cold. Uh, yeah, north of the 52nd. I would like if the president spoke less and did more. The speaking less, I agree with. Okay, I mean, I got to think he's doing. I got to say he's doing a lot, but I get very tired of the patting himself on the back stuff. Okay. Uh, yeah, the whole I don't need 4 years of campaign speeches. That's all. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Do a little Harry Truman here. Just, I got it. Leave me alone. Shut up. You know. B. Carey, what do you think of the antibiotic sets that some prepper sites sell? Seem expensive and not sure about how long they'd be good for. I've seen them, and if you've noticed, I've never got involved with them. Uh, Most of them are an absolute waste of money that you can put together yourself. It's no different than the freeze-dried buckets of food that you can buy. We got 96 meals in this. Yeah, if 2 scoops of rice is considered a meal, Okay, yeah, sure, 96 meals. It's more like 24 meals, and it's mostly filler. It's not stuff that's good for you. So, I've never been a big fan of the freeze-dried meal packages, and the medicine ones are no different. You can go and buy all the same stuff. Most of it you can buy at the dollar store, okay? Uh, sure, depending on the state you're in, like in Tennessee, I can buy ivermectin. I know a lot of you guys can't. I think there's only 2 states it's legal in, to buy over the counter. But a lot of this stuff I can get on my own. Go get yourself an ammo can. I mean, an old metal one, get yourself a plastic one or whatever it is, and you can build your own kit for a tenth of the price of what you're buying. Yeah, it's gonna take you a little bit of work. You're gonna do a little bit of hunting, but it they're not giving you this secret drug that, oh my god, you can't get anywhere else but from us. I mean, it's pretty much generic stuff. Oh, we have antibiotics in there. Not hard to get penicillin or amoxicillin or whatever you need. And the other thing is you buy that and the drugs don't keep forever. So, "Oh, well, it's been a year. You need to redo your subscription, throw out everything we sent you last year and use it again, buy new this year." So, I don't do them because I'm not a fan of them. I mean, you know me. I mean, I got too much bohemian in me. Is I try to do this as best I can for all of us on the cheap, uh, and I don't see any value in those things. Uh, Rebecca Woolsey, Mr. P, someone asked earlier in chat, what site do you do the surveys for money? The one I have done for years is Opinion Outpost, and then there's one that somebody else turned me on to that I've been playing around with lately. Let me see if I can pull it up. It is called Cloud cloudresearch.com. Uh, that one you've got to apply to be with them, and then it took about a month till they came back and said, okay, I could join. But I've had luck now with this cloud research one, and then with Opinion Outpost. I've had luck with Opinion Outpost for 10 years. So uh, if you're interested, go check those out. Leslie Enoch, we also need an update on birthright citizenship. Haven't heard a peep about that lately. Yeah, somehow that's got to go to the way it was intended. Okay, two illegals showing up here and having a kid that should not make the kid a citizen. If one of the parents is a U.S. citizen, sure. Then if they had a kid with an illegal, okay, fine, the kid's a citizen, but not two illegals. That's a recipe for disaster. So it's all this stuff. What I still don't get for the life of me, this is common sense. I mean, this is third grade common sense. And the only reason, I mean, if you go back 10 years and listen to Obama, listen to the Clintons, listen to Chuck Schumer, listen to Nancy Pelosi, and the speeches they were made, we can't have all this illegal immigration. Now that Trump's in office and Trump doesn't want to have the illegal immigration, we need to have illegal immigration. The only thing they're against is if Trump's for it, they're against. If Trump wanted to get rid of daylight savings time, like most of the country does, yeah, all of a sudden the Democrats would love it. If Trump wanted to, like, as the joke goes, find the cure for cancer, they'd somehow figure out how to be against it. Da, da, da. Okay. Broken Dolly, what do I think about Trump's decision, about the Supreme Court decision on Trump's tariffs? Uh, Personally, I think Supreme Court is wrong. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to get into the constitutional grounds they're saying so. But it's not that the tariffs were wrong. It was under the the statute or the law, the Emergency Powers Act that Trump was trying to enact them, that they said he couldn't do it under that, and that's why Trump turned right around and said, "Great, if we can't do it under that, we'll do it under this," and that's it. I saw today FedEx is trying to sue the Trump administration for taxes. Good luck with that. Not going to happen. You're going nowhere. Uh, but it's another one of those. For the life of me, I don't see how anybody in this country is against it. You know, gee, we pay 100% to ship our cars to Japan. We charge Japan 5% to ship their cars here. Wonder why none of the Japanese drive Chevys and we got all these damn Hondas on the road. You know, hmm, pretty obvious. Uh, Cindy Darby, what would you use to communicate with your daughter if things went down? My family is 3 hours away. Any idea what I could use to reach them? Uh, Ham radio is going to be your best opportunity. But again, to get a ham radio, first off, you got to get the ham radio. Both of you would have to learn how to use it. Both of you would have to get licensed because you need to be licensed to transmit on it. And before anybody says, oh, gee, in an SHTF situation, who gives a damn about licenses? I agree. However, in an SHTF situation, it's not going to be the time where you're going to be trying to learn something new. You're going to need to learn it ahead of time. So when SHTF happens, you pick up the radio and you go, okay, here's my call sign, blah, 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 and go through and get a hold of the other person. That works fine. That would be your best. You could possibly at nighttime use a CB radio, right? If you could hit the skip, that is, but a lot of these things are going to need to be coordinated ahead of time. If anything goes down at 7 p.m. Eastern, this is what channel you need to be monitoring. Okay. It's not like you're just going to be sitting here monitoring a single channel for 24/7 waiting for somebody to call. Right? It's not like the radio rings like your phone does. You should have plans ahead of time. And again, best laid plans of mice and men, they may not even work. Okay, look at what's going on in Mexico. Should have plans ahead of time for, in what you're saying, PBJ to get to me, what route she's going to take, where she is going to stop for a day, for a night, whatever. So I know how to look for her if she doesn't show up on time. On day one, she was supposed to be here. On day two, she was supposed to be here. On day three, she was supposed to be here. On day four, she's supposed to be here. I go, okay, she didn't show up. So now I go back to the day three rally point. Was she here? Either talking to people, or if you have something along the lines of put your initials on the McDonald's sign there, then I know you were here. Then I can narrow it down to, okay, she's been between here and here. I'm not going all the way back to Indianapolis. I know she's made it from Corbin to here, whatever, something like that. Sure, that doesn't make life easier, but if I can cut out a section, I know she was in between point A and point B, not in between point A and point D. It makes it a little bit easier. So, uh, but yeah, you should have rally points, contacts, and all that stuff should be, you should have a plan worked out that everybody knows before anything ever happens. Janet Potter, I paid off my mortgage today. I'm so relieved. Congratulations. That is the best. Today's a great feeling. I will tell you when the better feeling comes in is on the first of the month when you look at the checkbook and you go, damn, there's money here. It's your son, that the 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 bucks that you've been writing that check since God knows when. All of a sudden, when that money stays in your account, you go, holy crap, I got money. You know, your life changes quickly. Congratulations. Uh, one more spaghetti, spaghettios. When I sit through a diversity sensitivity training course taught by Ilhan Omar, right? Yeah, only if there was an oak tree out front and I was the one bringing a rope. No, I mean, Ilhan Omar, one of those people I wouldn't piss on if she was on fire. Uh, She is literally the most despicable person in Congress. And that's pretty good when you're looking at a Rashida Tlaib or a Jasmine Crockett or an AOC or a Nancy Pelosi. Well, funny how they all turn out to be women. Uh, yeah, Pramila Jayapal. Yeah, no, they all turn out to be Democrats too. Hmm. Uh, well, I don't know. You could say Eric Swalwell be in there. Maxine Waters, that's another woman. Eric Swalwell, that's another woman. Uh, yeah. No, I would not sit through it. All right, guys, it is 5 to 9. Let's kill this and let's go see what Mr. Trump has to tell us this evening. Have a good one, y'all. Pinball out.